Hi everyone, Phil from Tech for Techs. Today we're going to be looking at this kit from XPG, which is basically ADATA's gaming brand. It's got a CL rating of 18, it's 3600 megahertz. There are other speeds available on the market. You can get individual memory sticks and dual channel ones like this one, ranging from 3200 megahertz all the way up to 4133 megahertz, with CL ratings as low as 16 up to 19. But again, it might depend on the country you're in with what's available on the market. This kit has got a recommended retail price, or at least a street price, of roughly £75, but bear in mind that can change on a daily basis and will depend on your country and what's available and so forth. We do have links in the description below. If you click on that, it'll take you to the cheapest price available for this item on Amazon in your country. Okay, let's have a quick look at the box. Looks pretty straightforward. Red box, black memory. Doesn't look like there's any RGB on it, which is good in, well, some senses, not in others. Depends on what you prefer. But in this case, no RGB. We'll look at that as a good thing. As it says, it's an XPG GAMMIX D20 DDR4 memory. It is a 8 GB times 2. 3600 megahertz PC4 28800. On the back of the box, you can roughly see the memory sticking through the back there. Looks like a bit of scuffing on the plastic insert, and it basically just tells you in different languages what it is, as in desktop UDIM, which is obviously your standard DIM you use on pretty much most desktops. Let's have a look inside the box and see what we've got. Okay, so that's what you've got in the box, and well, there's not much. It's just the memory. There's no instructions as such in the box. Well, there is. It's actually printed on the inside of the box, which can be a bit hard to see, but you'd have to rip the box completely open to actually see the instructions. But in all honesty, memory should just be push in and clip in, so you shouldn't really need instructions to do that, but if you do, then well, have a look online, but it's usually pretty simple. There's no stickers, nothing about warranty or anything like that. It's just that's all it's come with. As you can see for the memory sticks, let me show you. So as you can see, it's complete gloss black. It's got XPG written on there, which is sort of in a metallic effect, so it does shine and catch the light at certain angles. There's no RGB fitting on there. It has got a heatsink, that's what this black bit is. On the opposite side, you've got more information about what you've got. It's basically identical both sides apart from this sticker, which I don't like them on memory sticks, but then again, if you didn't have them, people would get confused what speeds and everything was and so forth. Just to zoom in on that so you can see what it says. But it's basically telling you the model number on there, the CL rating, your speed, your voltage, which is 1.35, which is your standard, and warranty void if removed. But otherwise it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing special really to see. There's nothing remarkable. It's a heat sink. It does have a few little holes on there, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Both sticks are identical, but they do look pretty smart. So if you're looking for a minimalist look case or just straight black, you just don't want any RGB, but you want some decent performing memory, this is probably for you. Okay, we're going to do a bit of out of the box setting up. So we've got the memory inside the machine. The machine is obviously turned on. We've got the BIOS set up as default, so optimized default, so everything is basically factory. It's got the latest BIOS update for this board and everything like that. It's running an i7-10700K processor, and basically it's a modern day system, so there shouldn't be any issues with it running the memory as it should. So at the moment it's running on optimized defaults. So let's go into the BIOS just to show you. So you'll be able to see there in a second when it restarts. So let's get in that BIOS. Okay, So it's running at the moment the memory speed at 2665.36 megahertz. So let's just say 2666. Okay, so let's change this to the advanced mode, and we'll put the extreme memory profile on. Okay, so we'll put it on. We also know that the memory voltage runs at 1.35, or at least that's what it says, so we're going to change that to 1.35 volts. I'm going to save that, and that's all we should need to do. And let's see what happens. So we wait, we wait, we wait again, and nothing happens. After about 3 or 4 minutes, the machine will reboot and then say, can't do it, please enter BIOS, there was an error basically. And we'll do that in a second just to show you. Okay, so the machine actually started up that time, whereas the other times I've done this, it failed. But one thing I have noticed, if I go into hardware info, it's the same no matter what test I do it in, and press run. Now I'm just going to zoom into the screen so you can hopefully see the results there. But you'll see the memory clock speed is running at 1600 megahertz, which you think, oh, that's really low, it should be 3600. No, that isn't low, it's because it's DDR memory, you have to double that number, so it actually works out at 3200, which is still slower than it should be. And the reason why you have to double it, DDR stands for double data rate, so you have to double what it says, okay? So it's still not right, because it should be 3600 after you've times it by 2, and it's not getting there. The timing's correct, so that's 18, 20, 20, which is what it says it should be doing. So it seems a little bit strange. So let me just restart the machine, and we'll see what it says in the BIOS when it decides to get that. Okay. So yeah, frequency 3198, so 3200 megahertz, even though extreme memory profile is set for 3600, and even on the auto it says 3600. The voltage is right, and so forth. Even so, it says 1.38, even though I've told it 1.35. But whichever way you look at it, it's not coming up right. And we've reproduced this test on an AMD board as well. So we know it's not an issue with the Intel platform. So if I turn the XMMP profile off, let's disable it, set the speed manually for 3600. Okay, leave the voltage at 135, that's basically what it should be. I'm going to leave the cache rating and everything as it should be, as standard. We're going to restart the machine and see what happens. Let's see if this time it starts. So we wait, and obviously it does take a few seconds usually for the BIOS settings to save and change. Then in theory, by roughly about now, we should be getting something. And we're not. This is where it will go on to the bit in a second where it will fail and say can't do it and so forth. And no matter how many times you try and get it going, even by upping the voltage up to 1.4 volts, which is 0.5 higher than it should be, or should I say 0.05 higher than it should be, it still doesn't want to go. I can drop the speed down to 3500 megahertz. Works fine, but can I get it to work at 3600 on actually 3 separate machines? This machine, another Intel machine running an i5, as well as an AMD Threadripper machine, doesn't want to know it. So, seems a little bit strange in all honesty. because we cannot get the speeds it says. I've even tried it with one stick, just in case it was an issue with them working in dual channel, which shouldn't be really, because that's what they're designed to do, and I cannot get them to post properly at 3600 megahertz. Here we go, there's your fail message. And this is what we get every single time we try to do it manually, and if you do it automatically it only runs at 3200. So and then it defaults back to, when it fails, 2665.36. So there's definitely not running at the speeds it's quoted. Don't get me wrong, works at 3500, didn't crash one bit, did all our tests, and it works as it should at 3500, it works at 3200. And we actually got it working at 3200 with a cache rating of 16, which is basically a better response time, and it worked fine. But for the actual what it's sold as 3600 megahertz with a CL rating of 18 on any of the machines we've got, it does not want to work. So in conclusion, well, we got memory sticks what wouldn't run at the speed that they're supposed to. It happens now and again. It's a bit like when you buy a processor, some can overclock higher than others. It's all down to the quality of the actual memory, what's in there, and sometimes you get one or two sticks which aren't as good as others, and that's usually why you get different speeds, because they usually make them all a lot of time at the same time, and then they test them and go, all right, this one can do this speed, this one can do this speed, and then sell them at different prices. But unfortunately in this case it didn't reach the speeds it was said to. We could get it to post and run fine at 3500 megahertz, but 3600 just wouldn't have it. Even up in the CL rating to 20 still caused issues and crashing. We tried when we did manage to get it running Cinebench, and it would just crash out Cinebench or even blue screen the whole machine. So we couldn't really do any proper testing on it because it wouldn't actually run at the speeds it should run at. So otherwise we're basically underclocking it, making it slower than it should actually be. I'm hoping we've just got a bad, basically pack of memory, because ADATA memory is usually pretty good, don't usually have any problems with it, usually does what it says on the tin, but unfortunately in this case, on all our test machines, it failed to do anything it said on the tin. And just to clarify, we have got other memory in from different manufacturers with the same specifications, which work straight out of the box. Obviously, when you enable XMP profile, it picks up the speed and runs and works like it should, where this failed to do that, and even setting it manually, it still failed.